Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Ranking the Albums. And in the co-captain's chair alongside me today, the king himself, Mr. Chris Allo.
What's going on, Pete? Thanks for having me as always. Always an honor and a pleasure.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Chris and I have been talking about doing this one for quite a while, but it's been a busy couple of weeks because, as everybody knows, it is summertime and everybody's got a lot of things going on, and we just every time we get ready to do it, we'd like, well, but this is going on, we got to put it off. But today we bring you the Runaways. So yes, indeed, the all-female band from the late 70s, who of course had in their ranks some people you might have heard of, like Joan Jett, Lita Ford,
yeah.
Cherry Curry,
yeah,
right. These are
Sandy West on drums.
Sandy West on drums, right? Some people that some folks might know out there. But this band was not around for all too long together. I mean, it was only a couple of years, right? So
they talk about a band burning bright. And, and I think I had read somewhere where they were under contract to do 2 studio records a year, which is unbelievable, unheard of today, and even in the 70s. I mean, that was a lot. That was quick turnaround.
And tour,
yes, and tour in between. And these were young girls. These not like these were older professional women. These were teenage girls.
Yeah.
I mean, way ahead of their time. They're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, are they?
No, I don't think so.
Which they totally should be. I mean, Jesus. Talk about
they broke a lot of barriers. I mean, they didn't. Yeah. It's not like they were selling millions of records here, but they just paved the way for basically every girl rock and roll band that came after them, right? I mean, it's like, and interesting when you listen to and there's 4 studio albums we're gonna be ranking today, everybody. When you go and re-listen to these albums, it's like, this is like fun, punky, hard rock music, even. Arguably there's some metal going on here very early, maybe not too much different from, I don't know, when I listen to the Runaways, I hear like some early Kiss, I hear maybe a little bit of like MC5 and the Stooges and some glam, right?
Yeah, a little Cheap Trick. I mean, it's all kind of in there. They're definitely way ahead of their time, and definitely crossover.
Yeah. But their fellow musicians and bands love them, right? They toured with everybody. I mean, you can go if you do any like look up any history of the Runaways, you can find pictures and photographs of them. With every other band at the time, right? And it's like,
I mean, they were friends with Led Zeppelin, and they were friends with the Sex Pistols. I mean, right there, it says it all.
Yeah. So basically, we're looking at 1976 to 1978. So basically 4 albums in 2 years, like Chris mentioned before. We're going to rank all 4 of them, and then maybe I'll talk a little bit about their live album at the end. And so I'll have Chris kick us off with his number 4.
Okay, yeah, my number 4 is the last record that they did, which I believe they were actually already broken up when this was released, which is And Now the Runaways. This album features Joan Jett handling most of the lead vocals. Cherry Curry was already gone, and I just think the magic is no longer there. This is a band to me that's totally out of gas. They do a cover of 8 Days a Week, which I think completely blows. They do a cover of Mama, We're All Crazy Now, which kind of sucks too. There's a track called I'm a Million, which was written by Lita Ford. That track I kind of liked. Sandy West does vocals on a track. Lita does vocals on the song that she wrote. And actually, the song Black Leather, which was written for the Sex Pistols, was written by Steve Jones and Paul Cook. And they... the Runaways recorded it for their record, and I think that's that and the Lita Ford song are the 2 best songs on the record. There's a song on here called Saturday Night Special, which I thought would have been, considering there's a bunch of covers, I thought maybe it would have been Skinner, but it's not. It's an original, but it's not all that good.
Yeah. Actually, that song was written by Earl Slick, of all people, for them. Yeah. So, or maybe he did it himself. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I would agree with you. I'm going to go with now the Runaways from '78 is my number four as well. And if you read up a little bit on their history, management was actually trying to push Joan Jett out of the band at this point because
Yes,
they
which
were
is
not happy,
crazy.
which is crazy because she became kind of the focal point of the band. But you can kind of tell because all of a sudden the other two girls are now singing lead vocals and writing. They're
Yes.
doing all these other cover songs. So now this album is basically not very much having to do with anything Joan Jett at all. I mean, she sings a couple tracks. She doesn't really write much of anything here. And it's like she even says that she felt like she was being pushed out of the band.
Totally. And I mean, the funny thing is, like, if you see some of the videos, particularly like the song "Wasted," after Sherry Curry was already gone, there's two stars in that band, Lita Ford and Joan Jett. I mean, it's painfully obvious.
Yeah.
Those are the stars in that band. So
Yeah.
why you'd want to get rid of one makes no sense.
No. Yeah, and it's just crazy. We're talking just 2 years.
Yeah.
And really, they accomplished quite a bit in those 2
Oh,
years.
unbelievable.
But yeah, it fell apart really, really quickly. And just a picture, there's the ladies right there.
Yep.
That's the last lineup. So yeah. All right, number three. What do you got?
All right, so my number three, I put Queens of Noise, which is their second album. The title track I think is okay. I love Playing with Fire. I kind of like that one. Neon Angels on the Road to Ruin, well, it was kind of okay. California Paradise was kind of eh. It's I think I like the production better than the first record, but overall I just don't like the songs that much. They just don't do it for me. At least for me.
More on that later. I'm going to go with, and again, I think my top three, I think, are all really solid, whereas the one we just talked about is not a very good album overall. But I think the other three all have their moments for me anyway. I'm going to go with the debut from '76 as my number three. Really good album. It's raw. It's fun. I think everybody watching knows how much I love Cherry Bomb. Classic '70s anthem. Should have been a big hit, right? I mean, I never understand why Cherry Bomb was not like
a massive hit.
Just love it. I mean, it's a good headbanger. It's got a really fun cherry vocal on it. It's got a nice lead guitar solo. I just think it's fun. And, granted, at this point in time, none of the ladies were really amazing musicians or anything, but everything they did was simple and it worked. You Drive Me Wild is good, kind of hard rock and boogie. Is It Day or Night is great. Thunder is, to me, kind of sounds like The Sweet or The Faces. It's got kind of like, I mean, it's very from its time, this album, I think. They do Rock and Roll by the Detroit Wheels. That's a good cover, right? They did a lot of covers, but that's a good one. Lovers sounds like an early punk track. American Nights is pretty catchy. Blackmail and Secrets. Good stuff on here. I think it's fun. It's simple. It's unsophisticated, but that's kind of the point and the charm of the whole thing. And it's got that great album cover, right? Because she was always a doll. So good album. I just think for me, I like the other two a little bit better, but could be higher.
And I had just mentioned to Pete before we went on air that Joan Jett is currently on tour, opening for Poison, Motley Crue, and Def Leppard on the Stadium tour, and she's got like a 50-minute set, and she's doing two Runaways songs, Cherry Bomb and one other one I can't remember. It might be Is It Day or Is It Night? I can't remember what the other track was, but that's pretty interesting that almost 50 years later she's still playing songs from this band.
So what she's playing, two Runaway songs, I Love Rock and Roll, Crimson and Clover.
Yeah. Do You Want to Touch Me?
Yeah.
And a couple others. Yeah. I was shocked she get like 50 minutes. It's a long show.
Yeah, I think she starts at like 5 in the afternoon or something, doesn't she?
Oh, I think it was even earlier. I think I think Joan Jett was on like 3:30 or something.
Oof. Yeah, that's early. That's early. All right, what do you got for number?
Right. So for my number, this is my number two.
Yeah.
The Runaways, the first Runaways record. Yeah, I think there's just some great material on there, particularly everything Pete mentioned. Cherry Bomb, Is It Day or Night? The guitar, it kept bugging me. The guitars and it reminded me so much of another song, but I couldn't place it every time I listened to it. I really liked Thunder. Lovers kind of reminded me of the Pretenders. I liked American Nights. And I really thought the last track, Dead End Justice, to me seemed like they ran out of ideas and they just rewrote Cherry Bomb again. But hey, we had to fill the record. But it's a really it's a fun record, and yeah, it's my number two.
Yeah, Dead End Justice definitely sounds like a rehash of some of the other songs, but it's
Yeah.
pretty heavy though. It's probably one of
Yes.
the heavy songs on the album. All right, my number one and two are almost interchangeable. I like them both quite a bit, but I decided to go with "Waiting for the Night," 1977, their third album. So this is the first after Cherry left the band, and man, they didn't miss a beat. You know, Jackie Fox also left the band, so they basically got a new bass player and Vicky Blue, and Joan takes over all the lead vocals, and she sounds great on here. I'm not the biggest like Joan Jett solo fan at all, but I think in the Runaways, she just sounds pretty badass. A lot of good songs on here. Little Sister, catchy heavy rock song. Wasted is great. Got to Get Out Tonight also rocks pretty hard. It's got some pretty good riffs from Lita. Wait for Me kind of sounds like early Kiss to me. It's really catchy, good hooks. Fantasy is pretty much close to metal, I think. School Days, very punky. Trash Can Murders is great. I think, like I said, Joan sounds great on this. It's kind of like punky boogie metal, this whole album. It's really strong. Again, like they don't miss a beat and they look pretty badass there, so that's my number two, and I'm assuming it's
Yeah, that's my number one. Waiting for the Night. I think it's tough for me between the first one and Waiting for the Night, but I think Waiting for the Night is just a little bit edgier, maybe because it's Joan Jett, handling all the vocals. But yeah, I really dig Little Sister. Wasted, I think, is my favorite Runaway song.
yeah,
and that video of them playing live from the old Grey Whistle Test on
that's
BBC,
good, yeah.
just unbelievable. I mean, they were rock stars. School Days is another one. There's a great video of them on YouTube playing from Top of the Pops, and when you watch it, it's like, wow, those Joan Jett and Lita Ford, they were stars. Fantasy is another one written by Lita Ford that I really like. It's a slower, heavier one. That's my favorite of their four records.
And Lita, it took Lita a few years, right, to kind of get back into the spotlight, because her first solo album was like at least 3-4 years after this, if not more than that.
Well, apparently, her and Sandy West tried to do a heavier project once the Runaways was over, and I don't exactly know how long they were working on it, but nothing ever came of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took her a while to get going. And I also wouldn't be surprised if the minute Joan Jett hit big with I Love Rock and Roll, that somebody was like, quick, sign Lita Ford.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It's like you can't afford to sit around and dick around with a project you're doing. Yeah. Get a band together and let's just go.
Yep.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. All right, my number one is Queens of Noise, 1977, second album. I like this album a lot. I love the title track. Here you've got Cherry and Joan. Joan sings a couple songs on here, so they it's almost like you could kind of see that Cherry was on her way out, right? That she and again, she's another one, right? So she leaves the Runaways to go do a solo career, and
she was on Fantasy Island, I think, right? She farted around doing some acting.
Yeah,
she did a record with her sister. Like, I think she's doing ice sculptures now.
Yeah,
didn't she marry Steve Lukather from Toto? I think.
Or they dated, yeah, I don't know, or something, I don't remember.
But yeah, so she really didn't.
Yeah, should have stuck around. Well, whatever. Anyway, yeah, title track is great. Take It or Leave It, it's really heavy. Neon's Angels on the Road to Ruin is also a really, really good song. I love California Paradise. Johnny Guitar is fun. Just that, I think the production's a little better on this compared to the first album.
Yeah.
Still the music's very similar, but it's not quite as raw. And I think they really kind of became a band here. It's just kind of sad that after the success of this, that Cherry just left. But as we both said, Waiting for the Night is really good. So it's really like good. They did not miss a beat. Maybe got a little heavier, but Yeah, and great album cover, by the way. They
That's
look
true.
awesome on both the
Yeah.
front and the back. So yeah, good album, and good Lita Ford guitar solos on this.
Oh yeah.
Which I think, you could start to hear her development as a lead player on this album. No Eddie Van Halen, of course, but still pretty damn good.
Yeah.
So there you have it, everybody. Ranking the albums of the Runaways. And also, don't forget, if you're interested in exploring this catalog, and I think they do have a couple other like sort of official, unofficial live albums, but the official one was live in Japan,
Right.
which is quite good. This is also came out on Cherry Red Records. They did the whole reissue campaign on the Runaways not that long ago. And here you've got Queen of Noise, California Paradise, All Right, You Guys, Wild Thing, Getting Hot, Rock and Roll, You Drive Me Wild, Neon Angels on the Road to Ruin, I Want to Be Where the Boys Are, Cherry Bomb, American Nights, and Come On. So it's got 12 tracks. So it's pretty cool, jam-packed. Yeah, not the greatest sounding live album ever, but the performances are great. And it's pretty lively and rocking. So definitely pretty cool.
And I would definitely recommend if you're in the mood to read the Lita Ford autobiography is the greatest rock autobiography I've ever read.
Really?
Yeah.
I've seen it and I have not read it, and I probably should.
Yes. Yeah.
So I bet you that's probably pretty interesting, because you probably get the other side of the coin of her relationship with Tony, not coming from Tony Iommi.
Oh, sure. I mean, listen, she pulls no punches with who she screwed. We're talking, Tony Iommi, Richie Blackmore, Eddie Van Halen. She talks about a three-way she did with John Bon Jovi and Aldo Nova. I mean, she fucked them all. So it's interesting to come from that perspective.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, she gives the inside scoop on working with Ozzy and Sharon and the Runaways, and I really enjoyed it. I read it twice.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I've read so many.
The whole Tony Iommi thing. Yeah, it's worth checking out.
Okay. Yeah, I've heard it's good, and I definitely should get that. Yeah. I will do that. So that's the Runaways, guys. So not a big catalog, but there you have our rankings of it. So if you are a fan of the Runaways, please rank the albums as you like them down in the comments below. If you're new to the band, of course, most people have probably heard of the Runaways, but if you have never listened to them before, go check out some of these albums and let us know what you think down in the comments below. So visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, all together.
All the damn time.
For Chris Allo, I am Pete Pardo. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click on that notification bell so you get alerted of all of our content. We also have the links below to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations, as well as our merch page where you can get all sorts of cool Sea of Tranquility shirts, hats, hoodies, and things like that. Monsters Den, Hudson Valley Squares, and the Prague Seat. All that fun stuff is all down below, somewhere down there. So check that out, and we'll see you real soon here on the channel. I am Pete Pardo for Chris Allo. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.